Right, so today we're going to make these Italian meatballs called polpette, which I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, so I apologise if you're Italian. But they're unbelievably soft, juicy and full of flavour. And they're miles away from the supermarket ones that are just sort of dense, dry and taste of cardboard. It uses simple ingredients you've probably got in the cupboards at home. I'm going to show you the secret to keeping them nice and juicy and tender, and we're going to cook them in a simple but tasty tomato sauce. And the best part is you can knock this up in around 30 minutes. So it's ideal if you're in a bit of a rush, you've come home from work, you don't want to be faffing about in the kitchen too much, and you want dinner on the table super quick. So come on, let's get into it. Now this is the main bulk of the ingredients here. I won't go into everything, but I'll list everything in the description below. But I've got ingredients for my meatballs and also the sauce we're going to make as well. So I'm going to separate the two, and the first thing we'll do is make the meatballs. So I've got a mixing bowl here, and I'm going to add 250 grams each of pork mince and beef mince. And you can use the cheap or expensive stuff, it's entirely up to you, but it's basically half and half of each. So in with the pork, in with the beef. And the reason we're using both beef and pork, it's one of the secrets to keeping your meatballs nice and soft and juicy, because the beef adds the substance and meatiness to the meatball, whilst the pork, because it's kind of fatty, keeps them nice and soft and juicy. And then to that we're going to add our breadcrumbs. I'm using fresh breadcrumbs, you could use like the dried ones if you want. And again, this is another secret, because as they cook, the breadcrumbs will kind of soak up all the fat and the juices in the meat, retaining it in the meatball. Just a font of knowledge, me and I. And making breadcrumbs is super easy, right? Just take any like leftover bits of bread that have gone a bit stale, that are not really any good for sandwiches or toast, whiz it up in a food processor until you've got fine breadcrumbs, and then you can stick them in the freezer and use them from frozen. So you've got breadcrumbs to hand anytime. Next I've got some nutmeg in this like little cool little whirligig thing I got as a Christmas gift. Just going to twist in some nutmeg. Not much, because it could be overpowering. Say about 1/4 teaspoon will be fine. Cheese, and I'm going to grate this in here. You want about 30 to 40 grams, and you can use like really nice parmesan, pecorino. You could use like grana padano, or go even cheaper like I have and use that sort of hard Italian cheese. But it does the job, it's tasty, there's nothing wrong with it. Next I'm going to grate in 3 cloves of garlic, because I like a bit of punch in there. If you want a less prominent garlic flavour, just use 2. Twat in an egg, a little bit of salt. Not too much, because that cheese is quite salty. Good few twists of pepper. And now it needs some herbs. Need some aromats in there. And I'm using some oregano and parsley. Again, I don't know if this is authentic, but it does taste nice. I know it's nice because I tested out the recipe last night. A good old handful of parsley like that. Just kind of go with your eye, about that sort of much. And about that much oregano. And if you're using dried, hold on, let me just kind of reference my notes. See, it's proof, look, I make notes of my recipes and tweak them as I go along, and this is written on the back of a panel heater instruction manual. So there we go. I do test my recipes. So yeah, if you're using dried, you want about a tablespoon, but I am going to pick the leaves off, so I don't want the stalks in my mixture. And then just kind of smoosh it all together into a nice bundle and run your knife through it until everything's nice and fine. Just keep running your knife through it. Then wedge those herbs into your mixture. Try not to get it all over the kitchen floor. And there's no real finesse with this, you just got to get your hands in there, get your digits in there and mix it all together. Until you've got this mixture that kind of resembles something you'd find on the side of the A47.
Hello, Jackie.
A meaty paste. And then your mixture is ready to make into meatballs. But at this point, what you can do is pinch a little bit off, fry it off in a frying pan, cook it all the way through, taste it, and then you can adjust for any seasoning. And once you've adjusted your seasoning, if you needed to, we're going to make these into meatballs. But we're going to make them little diddly ones, little tiny little meatballs, right? Because first of all, this will help them stretch a bit further, and also they'll kind of incorporate into the sauce better, and you just get nice little diddly mouthfuls. So kind of like that big, you know, little diddly ones.
6 hours later.
Right, so there's my little tiny meatballs, all nicely shaped. Took me about 5 minutes to do. It doesn't take long at all. Get the kids to do it if you can't be arsed. But I'm just going to pop these in the fridge whilst we get on and prep the veg for the sauce. And today I'm going to cheat. I can't be asked to stand and chop a load of flipping veg. You know, and pop the little doofer in. And if you don't have a food processor, don't worry. Use a box grater instead. But I've got a carrot, onion and celery. And I'm just going to roughly cut down the carrot just into chunks. Same with the celery. And the onion as well. Just peel that. I'm not going to use all of this onion because it's quite a big one for this, so use a small onion or like half a medium one. And I'm going to use this piece here, that larger bit, and about half of this other piece. And I'll wrap that up in a bit of cling film, stick it in the fridge. I'll use it for something else. I'm just going to break that down a little bit. Okay, and that piece as well. add your veggies to the processor, pop the lid on, and I'm going to blitz this until it's all shredded nice and fine, but it is super loud, so I won't subject you to that. Until you got kind of whizzed up veg. It should be nicely shredded, but not like a complete mush. Next, tomato. In here again is where you can make a choice, okay? I'm using like the cheapo kind of essentials range from Aldi's for today's video. Now, don't get me wrong, I love like the really nice, bougie, expensive tomatoes. You know, Muti brand is one of my favourites, and the higher the quality of tomatoes, it's going to obviously improve your dish at the end. But today, I'm just going to use like Aldi's everyday essential range. They will do the job, so just use what you can afford, okay? I never want anybody to miss out on my recipes purely because of an ingredient that might be a bit out of their price range. You know, there's always ways and means that you can kind of adjust the recipe to suit your needs. But one really important thing, which I've mentioned before, and that's to make sure that you buy the whole peeled plum tomatoes, not the chopped. The whole tomato variant is better quality and tastier. The chopped variant tend to be like watery, insipid. You get the offcuts and bum ends of other tomatoes, and they're just generally not very nice. And they can be a bit acidic too. So I'm just gonna open these up. You know, you might be looking to have a can with a ring pull on it, but these haven't, so come on. Slop them in there, and then just simply crush them with your hands, right? A clean hand. And I should mention, I did wash this bowl before, you know, because some might point out, hey, you use this for the meatballs. No, cross-contamination, all that, yeah, but I washed it, it's fine. Okay, so once you've crushed your tomatoes, they can sit to one side. You need to get those meatballs out the fridge. And we're gonna brown these off to start with, and I've got my pan here. I'm gonna add a generous amount of olive oil. If you really want to kind of make this a little bit cheaper, use like rapeseed oil or even like veg oil if you really want to. There's probably about a tablespoon in there, and I'm going to put that onto about a 5. And as that oil is heating up, we'll go in with our meatballs. In they go. And you just kind of want to fry these off for kind of like a minute or two, just until they get a bit of colour on there, okay? We don't want these to be like dark brown, just kind of like a light sort of tan colour. Okay, so once they've kind of taking on a little bit of colour, I'm just going to fish them out into this dish here. Yes, I know that the raw meatballs are in this dish, but they're going to go back in. It's all going to cook through. It'll be fine. Don't stress. And then keeping this pan on the heat, but turn it down to like a 3, so sort of like a fairly lowish setting. And next you can add your grated veg, your shredded veg. Because these have been shredded nice and fine, it's a really good way to kind of hide veg in like sauces like this, so you know the kids don't notice it. You know what they're like. And just kind of gently sweat off that veg for a couple of minutes, just to start to soften them, extract all the sweetness, etc., which won't take long because again they've been shredded really fine. Then after a couple of minutes we can add our tomatoes. The meatballs can go back in, and all the juices as well, and then kind of mix everything together. And just whack the heat up a little bit, bring it up to like a boil, and then turn it down to like a nice gentle simmer. You don't want it boiling aggressively, but you do need a bit of motion, a bit of bubbling. And then cook that for about, well, I'd say 25-30 minutes. It may take a bit longer, it just kind of depends how fine your veg has kind of been chopped or grated. Obviously the meatballs need to cook through, that sauce needs to be nice and thick. And once you're about 10 minutes away, get your water on to boil for your pasta. Chuck your spaghetti, your bucatini, linguine, whatever it is you're having, into the pan. So by the time the meatballs are done, your pasta's done as well. So I'll see you guys in a bit when it's nearly ready, but I need to do some washing up. See you in a bit. Right, okay, so it's been about 25 minutes so far. You can see, look how much that sauce has reduced down. It's gone nice and thick and kind of coated those meatballs nicely. So pasta is also on, that's going to be done in about 8 minutes. So this can kind of gently bubble away, and then we can combine the two. Now, obviously, I'm not going to eat all of this, am I? So what I'm going to do is take some of it out, because I can cool this down, portion it up, freeze some for later. And then I'm going to take my pasta, my bucatini, which is like 90% cooked, and I'm going to add it straight to the meatballs, and then kind of toss that pasta through with the sauce, so everything all kind of combines. Don't use metal tongs on a non-stick pan, but I'm trying very hard not to scratch the surface, so you know, be careful, or be sensible and use plastic. I'm just going to loosen it up slightly with a bit of the pasta water, and then simply serve it up. One of those wonderful meatballs. And finally, a load more grated cheese. Get it on there. And then you have a really delicious, really simple but quite elegant looking Italian inspired meatball pasta. So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And also I hope you learned some like tips, tricks and hacks to getting those really nice, soft, juicy meatballs. But listen, I'm gonna shoot off, finish the rest of this. So I'll see you next time. Oh, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Cheers.